I drew this one and debuted it several chapters ago, brothers and sisters, but thought that since I did actually find the reference picture from this volume, it would be appropriate to put on this particular review. Enjoy!
One Piece, Chapter 54, Pearl.
Welcome, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the epic and grand tale that is One Piece. Our last chapter finished up Volume 6, half a dozen down, a ton more to go, but we're certainly making some progress. And at the end of it, the mackerel, the hidden or secret weapon of the Baratie, with Patty and Carne in it, was tossed just like it was nothing by Don Krieg, and Sanji went and gave it a nice spin kick to deflect it so they didn't crash into the actual restaurant. So that's what we were left off at the end of Volume 6 with, and that's where we start in Volume 7. Everybody is amazed. I mean, obviously the mackerel head ship goes not right into, but they still crash, just not into the actual restaurant. And everybody's like, oh my god, a kick technique. His leg is so strong, And Luffy's like, yeah, good job, he's excited. So we then go and we get Carne and Patty, are basically like to Sanji. They're like, what the hell were you trying to do? Were you trying to kill us? And they're calling him all kinds of names. And he goes, and smart-ass Sanji goes, yeah. Yeah, what do you mean? Blah, blah, blah. And they're going, you squid-headed son of a... And they're getting all angry at him. He grabs him and just tosses him over. And you know what? That's fine. Go ahead and you're cooks. Be cooks over on dry land. And he tosses him over to the fighting deck, And so then in the next page, we get all of the, all of Don Krieg's pirates, or the majority of them are all kind of, get muscling up and getting ready to go. And they've started to mop the floor with some of just the other fighting cooks. And they're kind of all laying battered and bloody and broken. And they're like, we're not just regular pirates, we're pirates of Don Krieg, the strongest in East Blue, and they're all, riled up and ready to go. And Carne and Patty are basically just like we give a shit, right? We're the fighting cooks, and they start riling all their guys up, you guys can't be beaten by these lunkheads, these idiots, get up, let's fight, and they're getting everybody riled up, and they're knocking guys left and right, and and they're basically, they're getting across the thing that, hey, listen, we've always gotten in trouble for fighting. We've been working as cooks for 10 years and worked at over 300 different restaurants, but this is the only one that we finally found where we could fight and cook, So, and it's the whole legend of the Baratie is the obviously being the fighting cooks that are on it. So I thought that was actually pretty cool. So the tide starts turning again in the favor of the good guys, I guess you would say, the ones I'm rooting for anyway. And then we go and we see kind of something coming up from the side in the water. We kind of see like some bubbles coming up and some kind of figure, something or someone, it's kind of coming up behind them, and just kind of you see the glow, 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 like there's something maybe coming up from underwater. Shortly after that, we are introduced to, after Patty and Carne get their knocked on their ass, the thing that was in the water was actually a person, and it's Don Krieg's second unit commander, titled, his name is Invincible Pearl. And, I mean, you have to see this guy because he has a giant shield that takes up, like, the entire front of his body, and then one on the back of his body. He's got shields on each one of his hands, and this guy's basically just like a walking fortress, So he goes and he batters them and knocks them down, and they're like, oh, geez, Carne and Patty, are you all right? And of course they're not all right. They basically just got knocked on their ass. One of Don Krieg's pirates goes to come over and take a knife, knife from Patty or Carne that are laying there. I think it's Patty. He's going to take the knife and wrestle it away from him, and he's trying to hold on to it as he's kind of half conscious, and he's like, what? You're not dead, Apparently this attack that he uses, kills everybody else. Or mostly, knocks people out of commission. Well, anyway, Sanji goes and then decides to join the fight, right? And Sanji now, we know, is the master of the leg kick and has got some pretty awesome kicks going, right? So Sanji comes in there and just boom, he kicks the one guy and he starts fucking this guy and that guy, and he just starts messing everybody up, right? And there's just bodies flying everywhere, and they're coming at Invincible Pearl, just bouncing off of his shield, right? So he goes and lays out like everybody in the general vicinity there that was, you know, that was approaching or still standing, you know, that's what it appears like. And he goes and I remember because I was looking in here, and he goes and he pulls the knife out, and it's kind of cool, and he's like, a chef's knife, here we go, a chef's knife is his soul. And then I love this, he goes, a crap bum like you had better not touch it. You know, so just some of the lines in there I kind of like, you know. He winds up giving it back to Patty, and he says, here, take and hold on to this while you're dying. I'll take care of these guys, which I thought was quite cool. So then, of course, the remaining pirates are like, what? You take care of us, we'll see about that. And Sanji just starts, you know, boom, boom, left and right with these kicks, you know, just coming out of nowhere. And you see, you know, 4 or 5 panels in a row of just foot to the face, foot to the side of the head, foot to the throat, foot to the nose, whatever, right? He's just dropping guys left and right. And so Invincible Pearl then is you know, the only one in the area left standing, right? And we're to believe that Don, Krieg, and Luffy are off, you know, just sort of entangled with each other. But while this is going on, but Invincible Pearl is basically, you know, this is kind of like the dick swinging contest. You know, he comes over and he says, "Oh, so I see you use your feet. That's your technique, huh?" And you know, and then Sanji says, yeah, you know, a cook's hands are their life. You know, I can't damage them in battle, so that's why he uses his feet, right? That's why he's so good at that. So Invincible Shield, you know, he goes, and Invincible Pearl basically says, listen, you know, I'm the shield man, okay? I'm 61-0, all right? In 61 battles to the death, I've never once lost. Matter of fact, I've never even had a drop of blood drawn from me, right? So this is the whole, like, I'm trying to intimidate you now with my awesome record of what I've done to everybody leading up to you, right? And, you know, Sanji is just thinking, yeah, like, I give a shit what's going on as far as what you've done or what you haven't done. So they start to get into it and go at it, and Sanji throws a couple of kicks, which are blocked, of course, by the Invincible Pearl, you know, who's got all these shields all over his body and then his arms and everything. We then are taken to a quick shot over of Luffy kind of looking, you know, he's caught looking over at them and what's going on, and he's back over by Don Krieg. He was still sitting on that mast, you know, and Don Krieg goes in and uses this to his advantage and says, hey, you should, you know, keep an eye on who you're battling, boy. And he's got this mace and just fires it out, and, you know, and just shatters the mast that he's on. Luffy, he's able to rocket himself or to jump right as that's happening, right? Because in the next panel, on the next page, all of a sudden he comes and just smacks into it. It's a nice side panel shot of Invincible Shield and Sanji going to kick at him, you know, and throw this kick up to his chest or about where his face is. And Luffy comes and just, his whole body just whacks him in the back of the head. Luffy gets up like nothing's going on, and he's just like, oh, thank God, you know, I'm glad I didn't fall into the sea over there, you know. So Invincible Pearl goes and he kind of, you know, wipes his nose like that, like I just did there, and he goes, oh my God, a drop of blood, you know, a drop of blood. So it was so obviously he can bleed, and it happened accidentally, but it was Luffy who drew it, a combination of Luffy and then of course Sanji, you know, distracting him. And just prior to Luffy coming over and drawing blood and hitting smack dab in the back of the head old Invincible Pearl, he's boasting to Sanji about, I've taken a cannonball straight to the chest and not even had a scratch, you know. I cannot be damaged. I'm invincible, you know. So that's why it makes it even funnier and more ironic when Luffy just comes and whacks him in the back of the head and draws blood. Of course, Luffy says his spiel, oh, thank God I didn't fall in the ocean. And then it winds up ending after that. Don Krieg's like, uh-oh. And then, even the pirates are like, oh no, he drew blood. So that's how the chapter ends. And the only thing I can assume is that this numbnuts, this Invincible Pearl, if you will, there's probably something with him. Maybe he goes into some kind of crazy-ass blind rage mode where he attacks anybody and everybody around him, you know, good or bad, on his side or not. I don't know. All in all, it was a very fun, action-packed chapter, and really has kind of been like that now. We've been on a high for, 5 or 6 chapters. So I thank everybody for joining me, continuing to take the journey with me. Certainly leave comments, as you always do, down below. Hit the like button there if you think I deserve it. And, subscribe if you haven't done so already. We look forward to catching you in the next one, Nation. As always, thank you for watching, brothers and sisters. Be sure to subscribe and take a look at some of my other videos. Thanks. See you next time, Nation.